Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Sporting Perspective. We are in week 6 of the college football slate, first weekend of October. Can't believe we've already made it to here. But before we advance forward, let's look back a moment to last week. We both have some things we want to talk about. We have our top threes. James, I'm going to push it over to you first for a couple of things we're going to talk about.
Yeah, my first storyline has to do with the Georgia-Alabama game. Um, Alabama won, obviously, if for some reason you don't know that. But my big thing that I took away from that game is that I just don't think Gunnar Stockton is the guy for Georgia. I think they made a bad decision in keeping him and letting Carson Beck go. Whether that was Georgia's decision or obviously Carson Beck was injured last year and Gunnar Stockton, took over that QB1 role. I don't know. Gunnar just doesn't do it for me. He's more of a game manager. He probably doesn't really have a NFL future, in my opinion. He's just not the guy, and I think that Georgia team is really good, like really, really good, and he's holding them back. I don't think they're gonna really, honestly, have a chance at a national championship with him under center. Again, I'm not there. I don't know if it was more Beck leaving on his own because Georgia said, "Hey, we're gonna run with Gunnar as our number one guy. You'll be the backup," and Carson Beck's like, "Screw that! I'm better than him. I'm gonna go to Miami." And we've seen what Carson Beck, can get back to. Like I said, after that injury he suffered last year, but yeah, that's my big thing. I just don't think Gunnar Stockton is the right guy.
Yeah, while Georgia's held a really high ranking the last couple of years, it just doesn't feel like the same Georgia team that we saw 5 years ago. I mean, they had a crazy amount of NFL talent that left, 3, 4 years ago. And they've held a good ranking, in the top five here and there, but they don't really feel like a top five team, which is a weird thing to say. We saw them at the end of last year. They were the two. They lose to Notre Dame. We saw them lose a couple games even last year that were weird and like even pulling out wins that were close. They're not really dominating anybody.
And obviously, we're still in this new NIL era. There's going to be a ton of transfers. Teams are going to be revamped year over year. So maybe the dominance from these teams that we're so used to just won't be as much anymore.
Yeah.
What's your number
I'll
one?
let you do your three in a row. Actually,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
My number two is actually from that same game. It's has to do with Alabama and mainly Kalen DeBoer. Um, it's kind of funny that we went from talking about him as a guy on potentially the hot seat. When you have a track record like Alabama, and you kind of are going after perfection, it almost seems like if you're not making the college football playoff and not winning games, or I shouldn't say not winning games, not winning 9+ games a year, it's almost looked at as like, well, that's not good enough. And that run that Nick Saban had with Alabama is legendary and absolutely insane. So the fact that DeBoer had to come in and replace that, those are big shoes to fill. However, minus that week one loss to Florida State, who, again, like we've talked about, looks like a pretty good team, DeBoer wins the big games. I don't know off the top of my head what the actual record is, but I remember seeing it was something like 7-1 or 8-1 against, we'll just say top 25 teams. Call that a big game. So I think he actually is doing a good job. Alabama fans need to relax a bit, which they are. Obviously, beating Georgia is a huge win. But they can't afford to lose to Vanderbilt this week, or else it makes the Georgia game just seem, obsolete at that point. Granted, Vanderbilt is a lot better. They're ranked. They're 16th in the country. But they need to just kind of stack these wins at this point.
It's kind of the same situation they were in last year. Remember, Alabama beat Georgia last year. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is great," and everything like that. And the very next week they played Vanderbilt, and then they
And they
lost.
lost at Vanderbilt.
Yes, at Vanderbilt. So it's the exact same schedule situation. It's going to be interesting because, yes, the hot seat definitely cooled. But this Vanderbilt team is better than last year's team. Granted, they get them at home, and we'll talk about that game more, but it could very easily just be a 7-day relaxation period. SEC stuff.
and just a repeat of last year.
Yeah, yeah.
My last one is the ASU TCU game. I'm not going to go into like the game itself. I mean, it was a fantastic game if you watched it. ASU rallied late, had a couple turnovers that helped them pull off the win. But really, the big takeaway I had was ASU is still a formidable team. I think they're still a team that can definitely go after the Big 12 title in a Big 12 that really doesn't have a super dominant team. It's kind of a bunch of middle tier crapshoot teams. And ASU has two guys, in my opinion, who are potential first round picks. One definitely being a first round pick, and Jordan Tyson. I think he's the best wide receiver in the country. And Sam Levitt, he's still just a sophomore. People are talking. I swear I saw someone mention how he could come out in the draft, which I.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you can do that? Is it just 2 years in college and then you can enter the draft?
So it's
2
if
years,
you're
or if you're 21 or something, right?
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely, I think, rising his stock. He looks like an NFL quarterback to me. I mean, he can sling it when he needs to. He's got one of the better, I think, pair of legs in college football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he not only is he a big kid, but he can run by you and he can lower that shoulder, which I'm sure Kenny Dillingham doesn't like all that much. But yeah, it pains me to say this, but I think ASU's kind of back, and I think if they can, theoretically win out with the rest of their schedule, they should have no problem entering the college football playoff.
Yeah, given the fact that the Big 12 is so open, there's no real team that's like showing off that they're crazy elite. I feel pretty confident by saying ASU Iowa State would probably be the Big 12 championship game. Yeah, I feel pretty confident with that, with a lot of that conference being fairly weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's good for ASU to show that they can actually win without Cam Scadaboo too.
Yeah.
And anything
So,
else, I mean, if Levitt can continue dominating, I mean, he's only really going to vault himself up in the quarterback rankings just because we thought this was going to be a really good quarterback class, and the quarterbacks we thought were going to be good are kind of not playing like how we thought they would, and some of the
yeah,
quarterbacks who were in that kind of 5 to 10 range are kind of inching their way
making
up.
the way up.
So,
Yep. So, my big three of this past weekend, I'm actually grouping into a big one. And the reason is I'm going to be talking James Franklin, Lincoln Riley, and Brian Kelly. All of them have the same issue right now going on in the aspect of they just cannot win the big game. All three of these guys lost in a top 25 matchup this past weekend, but are highly recognized as being some of the elite coaches in college football. So my big thing to you, I'm going to ask you a couple questions off of this, is of the three, who do you think had the worst weekend?
I mean, my initial reaction would be James Franklin, just because you're at home, it's a whiteout. You have to win a big game at some point. You can't just keep losing to all these teams. I mean, yes, Oregon's a really good team. I'm trying to think who did LSU lose to? Ole Miss?
Ole Miss. Ole
Were they on
Miss.
the road or at home?
They were at Ole Miss.
Okay, that's not as bad being on the road.
And then USC lost to Illinois. But remember, Illinois
Illinois came
lost
out,
to
yeah.
Indiana. Yeah, lost by 50 to
Yeah.
Indiana.
I don't know. All those guys are very similar. Neither have won a national championship, but you
Yeah,
have to think about it. I mean, James Franklin's the easy one, just because you go on Twitter, you see statistics all the time about how you just can't win the big games. Lincoln Riley, I guess he's younger. I'll give him a little bit of a pass in that he was only at Oklahoma for a couple years before moving to USC. And then Chip Kelly, another one of those guys who's heralded as like one of the greatest coaches in football right now, but he doesn't have a national championship. So,
no.
I mean, straight up, I would say USC losing from a game standpoint, that's probably the worst one, just because if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm watching film on that entire Indiana Illinois game to see what Indiana did and just
Yeah.
replicating that. So for game, I guess from a game standpoint, I'll say USC. From a coaching standpoint, I'm still gonna say James Franklin, just because
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. I mean, you have to win against someone big at some point.
Yeah. I mean, my follow up question to that is just straight up: who do you think is going to hold their job the longest at this point? Because I have one that I think is going to lose their job at this point, based off of how everything's going. I'll just say my answer. I think Brian Kelly's going to lose his job.
That's probably yeah, I could see that. I mean, LSU's invested so much money, so they might get a little pissed off of the money they're putting in, the players they have. Kelly can't get it done. I
Yeah.
think Lincoln Riley probably has the longest leash, just because I mean he's only been there for what 3, 4 years. He basically went over with Caleb Williams
Yeah. So that's about 4 years ago now. He might be on year five.
because Caleb played
This
a
is
year
this
at
is
Oklahoma, right?
he played 2 years at USC, and then
This is
this
his
would
second
be
year.
this would be his second year without him. So this is year four.
Okay. I'll give Lincoln Riley the longest leash just because it is a USC team that's personally I don't think they're as heralded as they used to be in like the Pete Carroll
Mhm.
era. I mean, I know their fans probably want them to get back to, dominating the West Coast and, being a top 25
Yeah.
team year in and year out. But they're in a tough conference. The Big 10 is good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd probably say Chip Kelly
Brian Kelly.
or Brian Kelly, not Chip. Brian Kelly. But I don't think James Franklin's too far behind. I mean, he
Yeah.
he's been there for a long time, and
Yeah.
he's not doing anything.
No, he's just beating up on bad teams, and it seems like all three of these coaches have the same issue. They beat up on bad teams, inflate their record, and then can't win the big game. No national championships behind any of these guys. Um, I think James Franklin's the only one that actually has a playoff win, and that was the Boise State, which is incredible as well.
Yeah,
Just can't get it done. A
yeah,
lot
I
of money
agree with
gets
you though. I agree with you. I think Brian Kelly, especially SEC, SEC is just so cutthroat that it's. I mean,
yeah,
if you can't get it done in the SEC, you're gonna get ousted way quicker
yeah.
than the ACC and Big Ten and Big
Well,
12.
yeah. Well, moving from talking about that SEC coach, let's go into some matchups here for Week 6, and we got an SEC matchup starting out the 5 games we're going to talk about. Number 16 Vanderbilt going to number 10 Alabama. We kind of mentioned this game a little bit earlier. I love the Vanderbilt quarterback. Ty Simpson for Alabama has been playing great too, so this should be a great quarterback matchup. Who do you got?
I really, really wanted to pick Vanderbilt. I think if it was at home again, I obviously you can't have back-to-back home games against teams like that, but I'd like Vanderbilt if they were at home. I just really like what I've seen out of who you mentioned, Ty Simpson and this Alabama team. And like I said, Kalen DeBoer wins the big ones, and this is considered a big one, being 16 versus 10. So I'm going to say that Alabama continues to stack these wins, so I'm taking Alabama at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take Alabama at home. I think this game's going to be close, though. Kind of a dogfight back and forth. But I think them being Alabama being at home is going to edge them out just a little bit. If this game was at Vanderbilt, I think Vanderbilt wins, though. So,
Yeah,
but
Diego Pavia, the quarterback you mentioned for Vanderbilt, I mean, he's going to do anything he can
yeah,
to to win this game. So
yeah, this feels
um,
like a dogfight. So,
simulation had Alabama winning 33-17.
okay, not as close as I would have thought. We'll move on to the next game, ACC matchup. Number 24, number 24 Virginia, who upset West Florida State last week, heading to Louisville, Kentucky, to take on the University of Louisville. Who do you got?
I'm taking Louisville. They're at home. They're undefeated. This isn't as much of a trap game as maybe a couple weeks ago. Virginia definitely looks better. But Louisville has a bye next week, and I think they have every reason to just throw the kitchen sink at Virginia and at home to win this game, to then know that they have a rest week coming up. So this is back-to-back years for Louisville's head coach, starting 4-0 as well. Maybe not back-to-back, but I know this is the second time that he's started 4-0. So Louisville's definitely gonna have a chip on their shoulder. They're undefeated. They're not ranked. Virginia's got a loss and they are ranked. Granted, they had that big win like you mentioned against Florida State, but I like Louisville at home. They're one of those programs to me that they're not quite upper echelon, but they're always hanging around there. And Lamar Jackson really kind of threw them on the map.
Yeah. I agree with you with a lot of what you said. I'm also taking Louisville as well. Virginia really rose up the rankings off of that one win, which was on a Friday night. They had it at home. They now got to go on the road and play Louisville. Not an easy place to play. I'm going to take Louisville in this one. I think Virginia is a little bit overranked based off of what happened last week. We'll jump over to the simulation.
Simulation has Virginia winning 39-24.
Wow. Okay. A lot of points. Let's move over to the Big Ten. Number 11, Texas Tech heading to Houston. Houston unranked in this one.
Yes. Big 12.
Big 12.
Yeah, this screams trap game for Texas Tech. I'm not buying it, though. I'm taking Texas Tech on the road. They're favored by a ton. I know Houston is playing better than a lot of people thought. But I don't think Texas Tech will have any trouble. The simulation might say something a little different later after you talk, but I think Texas Tech handles Houston fairly easily.
Yeah, I feel the same way. They've proven that they've spent their money well there at Texas Tech. They've already proven that they can win on the road, beating Utah a couple of weeks ago. I feel like this is going to be an easier place to play at Houston. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech travels well. I'll take Texas Tech here to win by a couple touchdowns.
And I guess Texas Tech doesn't really care what quarterback's playing either because their starting quarterback got hurt. Backup came in, like you mentioned, that win in Utah, and they looked just as good. So simulation has Texas Tech winning 24-20.
Oh, closer than I expected. Good ACC matchup here, undefeated at number 3, Miami of Florida. Florida, jeez. At Florida State. This could be a trap game. Florida State, we've talked about, lost to Virginia. Miami undefeated, but really hasn't played many teams outside of Notre Dame this year at the first week of the season. Who do you got in this ACC high-powered matchup?
Yeah, if I was Miami, I'd be a little worried just because it's never fun playing a team coming off a loss that you probably wouldn't have expected. And they have to travel to Tallahassee. I'm still taking Miami in this game. Miami looks like a pretty complete team to me, and they haven't really even turned it on yet. Not to mention they haven't really played too many teams other than, like you said, Notre Dame. They did play Florida and, beat them not as handedly as a lot of people would have thought, but they are winning games. So I'm gonna take Miami just because, I talked a lot about Carson Beck earlier and how he's having a good year. Georgia might have messed up. I'm taking Miami.
I'm actually going to take Florida State here. Traveling to Tallahassee, never an easy place to play. As you said, I think Florida State is going to be laser focused coming into this one after dropping the one to Virginia. And Miami and Mario Cristobal have a history of dropping big games like this. Bad time management, stupid errors at the end of games. They're always bound to lose one or two of these games a year. And Tallahassee is a tough place to play. That Bama win looks better and better now that they beat Georgia. I'm going to take Florida State.
Simulation had... Oh, excuse me. Not Florida State. Simulation had Miami, 31-24. And that was
Okay.
I did that on purpose. That wasn't me.
Okay.
No, Miami 31.
Yeah.
Miami 31, Florida State 24. So, touchdown difference.
Lee Corso fake out there. SEC, we're going to stay in the SEC. Mississippi State heading to number 6, Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'm really happy this game's at Texas A&M and not at that stupid Cowbell Stadium in Mississippi State. Yeah, honestly, I know we talked a lot about how this is kind of a weaker slate when it comes to Week 5 matchups. It's still the SEC. Never know what can really happen. I think Texas A&M is the real deal. It's at Kyle Field. They should be able to handle Mississippi State, I would think. So I'm taking Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas A&M as well. I will say Mississippi State has looked good early in the season. They gave Tennessee a scare last week and obviously beat ASU a few weeks back. But I'm going to take Texas A&M. Playing Kyle Field's a tough place to play.
Simulation has Texas A&M handedly winning 29-7.
Makes sense. All right, so we got another top five for you guys. A fun one this week. We're going to rank the 5 college football stadiums that we want to go to at some point. Um, so without further ado, I think we're just going to jump right into it. I feel like our lists are going to be very different,
Probably, yeah.
but
I'm not including. Obviously, you and I included have probably been to a decent amount of college football stadiums. So I'm not using. I'm literally going along the lines of places I've never been.
that's exactly what I did too. So
Sweet. Okay.
I'll let you go first.
Number 5, I put Husky Stadium, University of Washington. My parents went to the Arizona Washington game, I don't know, a couple years ago, and they have sailgating. They have Lake
Oh yeah.
Washington. They have Lake Washington right up against the stadium, so you can like either rent a boat or if you know someone with a boat, you can tailgate on the water. So that to me sounds awesome and interesting. So that's the reason I put Husky Stadium at 5.
It's a beautiful stadium. I've actually been to that one. Very, very cool stadium. And it's amazing how many people they can pack in there because it doesn't look that big on TV, but it sits like 80,000 people. It's
Yeah.
massive. Um, so my 5 is actually Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and the only reason I put this on there is because it looks cool, and that's it. Literally, it looks cool, and I wouldn't mind going to Miami. So that's it. I just want to include it in there. And it's an NFL stadium, so it gets all the perks of the NFL stadium. Um, Only reason there. Orange Bowl played there. That's all I got to say about that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. I know it's not the Nebraska of the 90s, but their fans are still insane. So, yeah. Don't really have anything else to say. It just be kind of fun to be in an atmosphere like that where got a bunch of cornheads on and
hmm
just watching football.
So my number 4 is Texas Memorial Stadium, University of Texas, Austin. Just I've always seen it on TV. Just looks like a really cool atmosphere. Austin's obviously a great place to party in as well. So seeing them on a game they win would be a lot of fun. And another stadium that just packs on a ton of people. Um, so not much more to say. That I just feel like University of Texas would be a really cool place to see a game.
I've actually seen a game there, and it is very fun.
Yeah.
Saw Texas Baylor, and it was Case McCoy versus Robert Griffin III.
Oh, nice.
So that was fun. That was fun. My number 3 is, I think it's just called Ohio Stadium, the Ohio State Stadium. I mean, I guess also known as the Horseshoe. Uh, Again, kind of the same reasons as Nebraska, except that Ohio State's actually good. I think it'd just be fun to
Yeah.
go see a game there. I mean, fans are crazy. I don't know what their tailgating scene is like. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, probably would want to attend a game earlier in the season rather than later. But
Yeah.
yeah, Ohio State.
Yeah, I actually have the exact same 3 and the exact same reason. Ohio State, Horseshoe would be just a great stadium to get off the bucket list, in my opinion, because there's been a lot of history there. You always hear about it. It'd be great to see Ohio State, in particular, Ohio State play Michigan there. I feel like that would be a hell of a game to watch live, especially as like having no like rooting favor in it. Just a
Right.
cool atmosphere to watch.
So I went with the same theme as 3 for 2. I put Tiger Stadium, LSU. I mean, literally the same kind of thing. Just football mecca. Fans are insane. Tailgating in the SEC just looks crazy. Um, you could probably aren't cooking up Gator. I mean,
Yeah.
depending if they're playing Florida, isn't it LSU who cooks up like the opposing
I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're
Yeah.
playing Florida, you're getting cooked gator. If you're playing, hopefully if you're playing Mississippi State, you're not cooking up dog meat. But depending on who you're playing, I guess they always try to incorporate something in the tailgating scene of the opposing fans' food scene. So I
Yep.
don't know. The live mascot, it'd be kind of cool to go see the
Yep.
tiger. So
So my number two, I've got Neyland Stadium, University of Tennessee. My sister went to school there. That place packs in 100 plus, which is crazy. And I've heard the traditions that happen at that place. It's just a rocking stadium,
oh
good
yeah,
or bad. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. Hell of a fan base, hell of a tailgating scene right off the water there. University of Tennessee, I think, would be a great place to see a game. Not much more to be said about that.
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Yep.
My number one, I went with Alabama. I went with Bryant Denny Stadium, mainly just because they've been the best team in football for their entire history. Basically, I mean they're the greatest football program as of this exact second. Uh, so why not just go check out the greatest team in the greatest stadium history?
Yep. Makes sense. I actually had Alabama up here and then I bumped them out. But at my number one, I actually have Tiger Stadium, which you kind of already talked about. A lot of the same reasons. They're pumping money into that school like crazy. Every single time that college game day goes there, it looks like just a huge party. A lot of athlete celebrities hanging out everywhere, all these games. And they cram in a lot of people. It's just everyone rooting for the same team. And Louisiana is a very fun place to be and party. Good place to watch a game at. Um, yeah, so we had some similarities there.
Yeah. If I had a sixth, so one of the ones I had was Autzen Stadium,
Okay.
just because it'd be
Yep.
fun to go see Oregon, high-powered offense typically. Uh, I'm assuming you've been there. You've had to
Yeah, I
go.
have a couple times. Yeah. Yep. That's why I didn't put it on there. But
Yeah.
I think we both can agree that granted the stadium has had some reservation renovations done to it, so it's not as bad. But ASU Stadium, Sun Devil Stadium, is a low one on the list.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a lot better now.
It's a lot better now, but oh my god, during those our days in middle school and high school, we used to go to games there. My goodness, that place was a jump.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, there was that. I'll never forget. It was you, me, and my grandpa Fred,
Yep.
and it was Minnesota, Iowa,
Minnesota, yeah, I
Iowa
forget who they
State.
play.
It was Minnesota, Iowa State, because it would have been Big Ten, Big 12.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah.
We were in the loge because my grandma worked for the Fiesta Bowl, so we always got great seats. So we were in the loge, free food, free drinks. I mean, at this point, I think we're in high school, so
Yep.
free soda. But one of the teams I remember was destroying them. So we left at
It
halftime.
was it was 38-3, and then the other team came back and beat them.
Yeah, we left at halftime. My grandpa and I drop you off. I don't know why I went back. Maybe I could drive and I left my car at my grandparents
Yeah.
because I went back there and I remember my grandma opened the door. She's like, "What are you guys doing home?" And
What
she had the game
you
on. She had the game on. We walk inside and it's like a tie game. And I was like, "Well, this sucks." We literally, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been bested by now. Maybe it has, but that was the biggest comeback in college football bowl
At
history
the at at the
at the
time,
time.
it was the biggest one. Yeah, I think it's been bested once or twice at this point. But that that bowl season for Arizona was unbelievable because there was that game, and then it was like 4 days later, the Boise State Oklahoma game
Oh
happened.
yeah, I was at that game too.
That
Again,
was at that one. Yes, and
something I keep
we learned our lesson on that one. We didn't leave that one.
no. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Something I took for granted was Grandma Bev working for the Fiesta Bowl because it was like every year I was going to the Inside
free
Bowl was
ticket.
always like get a group of friends. I feel like and
Yep.
go. Fiesta Bowl obviously is a little a little
Tougher,
bigger
a
of
little
a
tougher.
deal. But I mean,
Yeah.
still going to like, I mean, a lot of those Fiesta Bowl. I was at the Miami Notre Dame Fiesta Bowl when it was at ASU Stadium.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
Yeah.
that was the game that what's his name, running back, just completely ripped apart his knee.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can see his face. He played for the Bills.
Yeah,
It'll come to me.
yeah, whatever.
But all right, guys, that's all we got for this week on our college football episode. Make sure to stay tuned. We got an NFL episode dropping tomorrow, week 5 of the NFL slate. So we will see you soon. I guess we're going to cut it off there, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.